So over the last 24 hours, I've learnt three things. Firstly, that my GH5 has electronic stabilisation, so film's less wobbly from now. Secondly, my microphone on the camera actually has a high-pass filter, which means less wind rumble. The other thing I've learned is an iPhone can become a sonic bomb for your fellow composers. This is my personal iPhone, but I also have a business one that I'm estranged from. It is currently residing at Air Studios in London. I know this because I did a Find My iPhone thing on iCloud. But what I didn't realise was I'd left it in the live room at the hall at Air Studios. And when I pinged it so an assistant could find it, I interrupted an orchestral cue with over 30 players. Apologies to the composer, but an interesting idea that you could get market dominance as a media composer by planting iPhone-based sonic bombs around recording studios to sabotage the efforts of your fellow composer. Anyway, today's very much a Spitfire day and kind of boring stuff, newsletters and business preparation, all that kind of stuff. But I do have one of these. There's a gentleman called Stanley Gabriel who is our head of production, and when he gives me one of these, it means I've got a new sample library to try, which is very exciting. So I'm going to while away the hours that I should be spending on business playing with some lovely new sounds. Now, I've actually got a film for you to watch. Whilst this studio here is looking all kind of saucy, nicey, saucy, it's actually pretty much unwired in, and I've got Yellow Technology, a chap called Pete, who have come up to take a look at things and are going to come up with a plan to wire my studio in and future-proof it for the next 10 years or so. You have to excuse this film, it's shot on a pecky little 4K Sony action cam. Apologies for that, but enjoy the video. Roll VT. We're here with Pete from Yellow Technology. We're going to have a look at my studio and see what can be done. Yeah. So it's a real state, as you can see. I guess what I've done over the years is recorded a lot in the studios, but I think this is really just going to be a writing room, and I'm going to use the local facilities. There's some amazing studios. Right. Yeah. I don't know if you've heard of Castle Sound, which is the old Lynn. So, I mean, there's two really uses for this studio. It's me writing to picture, and then doing vlogs, of which I do quite frequently. So, sonically, it's when the curtain's closed, it sounds very good. I'm perfectly happy with that. Yeah. And really, as I say, all I'm really doing is the odd using that mic and recording the piano from time to time, and maybe the odd instrument here and there. Really, yeah. I love really shit taxidermy, and my wife won't have it in the house. So this is my opportunity. So this is Foxy, excellent, and then I've got Minky over here. But Edinburgh's great because it's full of really shit taxidermy. There's a nice picture of my mum there. She's an actress. She was in a series called Till Death Us Part. Oh yes, I remember. Playing next to her husband, who's Tony Blair's father-in-law. Oh right, really? Yeah, Sherry Blair. It's Tony Booth. Yeah. Tony Booth's daughter's Sherry Blair. Sherry Booth. Right. Yeah. So that makes me, by fiction, Tony Blair's brother-in-law. Right. Well, there you go. Something not to be proud of. And the other thing that I've never managed to achieve as well, just another thing to think about, is I've always had a real passion for these guitar effects. In fact, my wife bought me that Mutron, which makes mega cool. And I've always wanted to create what I refer to as like a fuck box, fuck with a signal. Yeah. But I've never really found. I find that these things don't really fit in with the standard outboard kind of thing. So I don't know. It's maybe about creating a.
It's funny how the same things come up again. Right.
Is it?
Yes, and it just kind of comes gradually, sort of organically goes. From one step to another, and so many people these days are asking for the same sort of thing. Right. And we've done quite a few systems now where we're looking at integrating old synths and pedals, and wanting to be able to use everything with everything, basically. Yeah. And yes, it can be done. It can be done.
So my thinking, and again, I'm going to start keep an open mind on this, but basically the way the gang were setting it up was I had vintage synths going into these line pre's to boost the signal a bit. Yeah. And then my rather interesting idea was to have them all go into this Neve. Yes. And some into two channels. But that is a bit of a fixed system that is probably not. But I do like using the Neve. Obviously, put these things through. It sounds very nice.
Yeah.
I guess, again, very limited number of inputs that are purposefully, mic inputs. But, like to possibly send a mic input into a tickler of some sort. But then the expensive stuff is just sound better kind of out and back in again.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have 2 banks of the Black Magics. And I'm going to start doing these. All of these vlogs are going to be on 4K, so I'm going to need some kind of enormous storage solution for that.
Pro Tools, you said. What do you run? Basic Pro Tools?
HD.
HD. Where is? Oh, you're using Symphony for
Yeah.
Pro Tools. Okay.
And Logic at the same time.
And Logic at the same time. Okay, I see.
Yeah, so the Neve I use as my dedicated voiceover. It's just I have just set. It's all fixed and set. And then any mics go through the Crane Song.
Yeah.
And I guess if I was to go beyond 2 stereo mics, that would just go through the Apogees, the second Neve. But I just can't see when it's going to be very rare that I do that. And from a layout point of view, I thought that I could have stuff that I need to grab here, and then maybe 2 of these or 3 of these on that side there.
Okay, yeah.
Give it a bit more space.
What about the desk arrangement that you've got here?
I like it.
Great.
I had a studio which is all fitted, and I didn't write very good music in it.
Great.
I just there's something about just a bit of vibe, and I'm quite kind of aesthetically minded and stuff. So.
Yeah, great. No, it looks good. I love this. I'll work things.
The that screen is the temporary replacement for the one that broke down yesterday. So I've got a curved ultra wide.
Yeah.
And are you familiar with this company?
Yes, absolutely.
They're just absolute monsters. I'm delighted with these. These are from the Manchester Library. Oh, wow. And what's great is they have, I don't know if you've seen, they have independent. So you can prop them up. But you can't. I mean, it's a bit wobbly left and right, but it won't come down. Yeah. It's very, very heavy. Massive fan of Trump too, obviously. I made the mistake of doing a vlog online and just taking the piss out of him, and people just got really upset about it, and saying, how dare you introduce politics into the music industry? And you're like, right, historically, they've been quite the music industry have done quite good things for So I basically have become silent with my political things, but I just whenever I do a vlog, he's always in the background with darts in his face.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, in terms of the layout of the studio, you're happy with everything?
Yeah, that's something I've really kind of thought about, and it actually, to be honest, it just mimics how I had the studio in King's Cross. I just don't think I work as well when it doesn't feel properly organised and neat and tidy, and it just feels a little bit too much like a workshop at the end of the garden at the moment.
And what's going on under here at the moment? That's your Pro Tools machine.
Yeah, I mean, this is just there's just desperate for Apple to come on, guys. They have said
they're doing something.
The problem is, I've used every single from beige G3s up, and I've gone through every single iteration I've bought. And I get to know Apple things, and I can feel that this is starting to creak, this one. And I just don't want to be faced with that horrible dilemma of having to get a replacement one of them, knowing that something that doesn't look like a dustbin is probably coming soon.
Have you just got one machine, one computer?
And that is like fine.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I'm doing vlogs where you're recording the screen, you're recording what Logic's doing into Pro Tools. It's again, I mean, I don't do super fancy orchestral works, so it seems to be fine in that respect. But I've got to organise my storage a little bit better. But basically I have 2 RAIDed 2 terabyte drives for the Spitfire samples, a drive for my own samples, a drive for Logic, and Pro Tools, and then I've just got stuff kind of dotted around, but that I can optimize and bring down. But I do think I do need the two. I mean, I just want to be in a position actually where I can, I've got a couple of free bays that I can hot swap stuff. Because I'm using for these videos, I'm using these Blackmagic recorders. So it's whack it in and whack it through.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm doing most of my video editing on my Mac. This is the single-handed most impressive bit of kit I've ever used in my life. It's a Samsung 2 terabyte SSD hard drive, and it's as fast as a system drive. It's an SSD system drive. So I wrote Tutankhamun on that laptop on the train with that Samsung and a little mini thing. So it's quite incredible.
Yes.
What's the kind of next step?
Okay, the next step is right now I need to take some measurements, pictures, write some stuff.
Great.
And then I think the next thing after that is I'll come back to you with an idea of, we'll put this here and this here, and what do you think? And you'll say, no, I don't like that there, or whatever. Get to that stage where we've got a layout and we've got a sort of concept for it that you're happy with, including how everything is going to work together.
Sure.
And then we start to put the work in the design of the wiring system and everything else. How do you power everything up at the moment? I see you've got Furman there.
Yeah. I just at the moment I just switch the units on that I need. So switch the computer on, and then it's really at the moment all I'm using is the 2 mic pre's and the head. That's really it at the moment, and obviously the Symphony IO as well. Which I hate powering up because it sounds like a really dodgy LPC. It does one of those. It spins the fans.
The speakers.
I leave them on.
Right. Oh, you've got a sensor as well. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not an optimal position really. But however, with music, I must stick dialogue in there, but I'll never put anything in there.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
And I've got there's a sub there as well for the 5-watt ones.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Which is again something that I've learned the hard way. Never ever ever put anything in the NFE channel.
Yeah.
And I mean the mistake, I have to drill it into for me it's like an edict when I work with a new audio engineer. It's like you must not use the LFE as part of the bass management because they just in the dub they just switch it off. If they see anything, they just switch it off. If you just the odd taiko boom, maybe you're going to go with, but that's about it.
Great.
So shall I let you get on with it?
I've got going to need a little while.
Absolutely.
So.
And remember, if you like what I'm doing, hit like. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. And for relevant links, just look at the video description box below.